Hello and welcome to the second lesson in this unit. We're looking at the topic of how much do I have to pay. So we're looking at dealing with money here. So I can apply my understanding of adding money and determining how much I have to pay. All right, so we're looking at strategies to determine or come up with strategies to talk about how much do I have to pay before I'm actually told at the till. So in Canada, we now have no penny anymore. So a couple things you need to know. If you're paying cash, you no longer have to pay down to the penny. If you're going to pay with your debit card or your credit card, they will charge you down to the penny because it doesn't actually require them to use a penny. All right, so even though the cash till is going to tell you exact value, you're going to only pay to the nearest 5 cents. So what does that mean? That means that we need to use our rounding skills from the first unit in order to determine how much we're actually going to have to pay. All right. So the example I have here is what comes up on the cash register, and we want to calculate how much they're going to actually charge you if you're going to pay with cash. So the nearest 5 cents. We're looking at the 2, that penny. We don't have 2 pennies anymore. So what you keep in mind is you're either going to pay $3.50 or $3.55. Those are your 2 choices for the 5 cents. So when you're looking at a scale of 0 to 5, you need to decide which way are you going to go, which way are you closer. So because it's a 2 here, we are closer to 0. Or 52 is closer to 50, so therefore you're actually going to pay $3.50. All right. In the next one, the 8 can't pay with 8 pennies. Are you closer to 95 cents or are you closer to $5? And the answer here is you are closer to $5. In C part, 24, the 4 cents. Are you closer to 20 or 25? The answer is you're closer to 25. So here you would have to pay $1.25. 7. So it could be either a 55 or it rounds to 60. Which are you closer with? 7 is closer to, and again, if you're not sure, you always write it out. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and the 60. Here's the 7. You're closer to the 5 than you are rounding up. So here we have 1955. Here with the 7, same question. Closer to 35 or 40. And here you would be closer to 22.35. Okay, and the last one, that 9, 25 or 30 is your options. What are you closer to? $199.30. All right, so there we are. That's what it looks like when we are rounding, okay, to the nearest nickel or the nearest 5 cents. All right, so what I've done in this example here, the second slide, we're looking at arena menu. What I want to do is I want to give you a strategy to add up stuff without, pulling out your cell phone to do it, and just do it in your head quickly. Okay. So Tony wants to buy a hot dog, a Coke, and fries. So his hot dog from above will cost $2. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to break it into dollars and cents. So $2 plus 10 cents. So there's his hot dog. His Coke is going to cost $1.25, and his fries will cost $1.95. So how much does it cost for Tony? So the first thing to do, I add up my dollars. So I look at it and I'm adding up 2 plus 1 plus 1. So he's going to definitely have to pay at least $4. Then I look at his cents. So I picked the easiest numbers to add together. So 95 cents plus 10, that would give me 105. and then 105 plus 25, and you got to think of it in terms of dimes, nickels, and quarters. You end up with 130 cents. Now remember from our previous lesson that for every 100 cents, you have $1. So that 100 cents becomes $1. So 4 plus 1, we would end up with $5 and 30 cents. So 5.30. So it will cost $25.30. All right. Next, Taylor wants to buy a pizza slice. So pizza slice is $2.75. So I'm going to set it up $2 plus 75 cents or 3/4, and some milk. So no dollars plus 85 cents. Okay, so let's talk about a couple strategies here. Dollars are easy. Shows up as $2. Okay, plus, now I'm looking at the cents. I have 75 cents and 85. So not something that's easy to add. So what I'm going to do is, I know that it's easier for me if I change 75, if I take a nickel away. So in my head, I'm going to say, okay, that's now 70. And I'm going to give that nickel to the 85. So now I have 70 cents and 90 cents is what I want to add. So I know that 9 plus 7, okay, 9 plus 7 is 16, and I have multiple 10 more, so 160 cents is what it ends up being. 160 cents. So when you do this, remember, every 100 cents gives you $1, so we have $3.60. So that means Taylor's purchase of pizza and milk will cost $3.60. JC, he's going to buy a hamburger, candy, and Coke. What will his change be if he pays $10? So the hamburger is $3.50. So $3 plus 50 cents. The candy is $1.75. So $1.75. And the Coke was $1.25. So moving over, I do my dollars first. So 3 plus 1 plus 1, so 3, 4, $5. Plus the cents. Now remember, you're dealing with in quarters. Don't think of it in terms of big numbers. You have 75 cents, which is 3/4, plus 25 cents. So that's another quarter. So they add up to $1. And then another 2/4, so another 50 cents. So we actually have 150 cents. And again, for every time you have 100 cents, it adds $1. So 5 plus 1 gives me $6.50. So JC, his bill will come out to be $6.50. All right, now let's talk about how much change is he going to get back. All right, so his change. If he pays $10, or he has $10, that means that his cost of purchase, so the $6.50, plus his change, so you always look at it backwards, plus your change, so plus change, is going to add up to $10. So you need to, it's easier in your head to do adding instead of subtracting. So how much do we need to add on to this $6.50 to make it into an even $7? Well, I'm going to have to add 50 cents. Oops. I'm going to have to add 50 cents. All right. So that 50 cents will make this $7. How much do you have to add on top of the $7? Well, you'll need another $3 to get to 10. So therefore, JC's change will be $3.50. Okay, we're going to work on this process exclusively in the next couple of lessons. We're going to spend a whole day practicing making change. So I'm more worried about you being able to add today and round to the nearest nickel.